Hey there everybody, it's Kathy Champion. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Gastonia, North Carolina, and I'd like to welcome you in. This is my host code for the month of February. It will also be posted in the description below and in the description box under the video if you just click where it says show more. And you will find all the links and everything that you need, along with all the measurements and everything for what we're doing today. What I thought we would do today, let me explain my host code before we get started. For anyone that's not familiar with Stampin' Up, each independent Stampin' Up demonstrator can offer incentives for shopping on their store. So for my incentive, if you purchase $50 worth of product using this host code on my online store, you will receive a free gift from me at the end of the month. The gifts will always mail out the first week of March or the first week of the following month. So with this being February, they will mail out on the first week in March. But with that being said, I'm also running another promo that for any purchase of any size in my store this month will put your name in a drawing for a stamp set, and it is the Touch of Ink, which is a celebration item, but it is a $100 tier item. So in order to receive the stamp set with this celebration promo, you have to spend $100. So this is a really nice stamp set. It's a two-step stamp, and anyone that's not familiar with that, you don't have to color because you can stamp your color ink and stamp it in. You'll see that with the with this particular stamp set, Sweet Strawberry, that we're going to work on today. And this is a two-step stamp set as well, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But with that being said, a $50 purchase this month will not only get you a free gift from me, but you will also get to choose a free item out of the celebration catalog. There's only 2 items in there that's a $100 item where you have to spend $100 to get it, and that is the Berry Blessings and the 12 by 12 paper pack, and also the Touch of Ink, which is the stamp set that I'm giving away. Everything else is $50. So it's a win-win, but that campaign ends on the 28th of this month. So if you've had your eye on anything, now would be the time to go shopping. Okay, with all of that being said, we are going to center in on the Sweet Strawberry bundle. And this bundle includes the punch and the stamp set. Now this stamp set is a photopolymer stamp set. And as you can see, I've given it quite a bit of love because it is such a cute stamp set to play with, and I have played with this one quite a bit. But I want to show you some techniques and how to use this, and this will work with any of your multiple punches. And when I say that, a lot of the punches that punch out more than one image, and you know what I'm talking about, like for example, the tulip punches more than just the tulip. It punches several different items. The whale punch, that one also punches like 3 or 4 different items. But this will work, this technique that I'm about to teach you how to do will work with any of your punches that punch more than the one item like this one does. So I'm going to set my punch over there just for a moment, and I'm going to show you the template that I made. And I'm going to show y'all how to make this. What we're going to do is we're going to cut a piece of cardstock that is a 4x4 piece. And you might say, why 4x4? I just found this to be a good size to use as a template. You could make it any size you like, but for me that seemed to be the size that worked the best for me. It fits in the punch nicely. It will fit on your card base nicely, or whatever that you're stamping. So I'm going to cut this down to 4 by 4, and this is going to give us that piece that we need for our template. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this in my punch. And what you want to do when you do this, you want to make sure that you slide it all the way to the very back of your punch, just like that, all the way to the back. And if you can, try to make sure that you're getting it even on both sides. So an even amount of cardstock on both sides. And you want to use the heaviest cardstock that you have. So the Basic White Thick would be the best one to use for this. And then you're just going to punch this just like that. And now when you take this out, don't turn it. Just set it right down on your work surface, just like that. And what you want to do is put right up here, just to indicate that that's your right side. Put a B here for the bottom, and an R and an L for your left and your right. This might be a little bit of an overkill, but just to make sure you don't put it in your punch the wrong way, or you don't lay it down on your work surface wrong, because if you laid it down like this and stamped your image and got ready to punch, you can see how your stem would be backwards, your flower would be on one side. So that's the reason I marked mine like this. Now what you're going to do is get another piece of cardstock, and you can sit this over to one side. You can put it down ever how you see fit. And go ahead and tape it down with either some washi tape, or I like to use these Post-it note tabs. They work really well for me with my die cuts or whatever. This one I have right here, I'm going to actually use this one since it's already been used. I'll save this one for a backup. But I'm going to go ahead and put this down on and you can see where I have stamped and used this one quite a bit. And now what we're going to do is grab some stamp blocks, and I'm going to get several of my stamp blocks out, because we're going to do a variety of stamping. And I've got some ink here. We're going to start out with the strawberry, and I chose Poppy Parade and Melon Mambo. And you might think that's a strange combination, but I actually experimented with a lot of different colors to get my strawberry exactly the way I wanted it. And this color is the best. The Poppy Parade is the best color for the actual coloring of the strawberry. And the outline does much better with this Melon Mambo than it does with the Real Red or the Cherry Cobbler. I even tried it with black, thinking it would make the seeds look better. This was actually the closest to realistically what a strawberry looks like, so I decided to go with that. Now what you're going to do is, I'm going to start out with my actual background stamp that will stamp the color of our strawberry. And I'm going to start out with the Poppy Parade, because like I said, that makes the very best color for a strawberry. So I'm just going to pick that up on my stamp block, and I'm going to pick up some ink on there. And I just want to make sure I've got a good amount. Now this is shadowed. You can see how it's got a shadowing on it. That's the way the stamp was designed. So now I'm going to sit this down right into that space, and I'm going to give it a good press. I probably should have my Stampin' Pierce mat under me, but there is our strawberry. You can see that was very pretty. So I am going to clean my stamp, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab the outline. I'm going to lay my stamps right here where I can get to them easily. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to sit that right inside. I'm going to close up my Poppy Parade because I'm done with that for right now. And then we're going to grab the Melon Mambo. And like I said, this seems to be a very unusual choice for a strawberry, but I'm here to tell you it really does work. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. That gives me a nice little amount of ink around it. And then I'm going to sit that down and press. And see what I mean? That outlines it in just a little bit darker color, and it puts just a speckling of those seeds in there, and it really does give it the appearance of a real strawberry. So after much experimenting with different colors of ink, that I came across that to be the best to work for me. Now the next thing we're going to do is our leaf, and I'm going to stamp the color of my leaf. I'm going to go ahead and sit that down in there. And let's pull this one off because I don't think I need the bigger stamp. Let's close up my Melon Mambo. And I'm going to stamp this in the Old Olive. So I'm going to pick that up, load up my ink, and again you can see the shading. See how it doesn't completely cover the stamp? It's meant to do that, to give it the look of being colored. And I'm going to press that down. Very nice. And then I'm going to grab my Garden Green. You know what? We could have done the little one while we were in here. Let's go ahead and do that one as well. This little stem right there. And this is the fill-in color for it. So I'm going to pick that up and ink it up as well. And then we're just going to sit this down right over top of there. And that didn't quite get it exactly where it belongs. It's harder with the smaller pieces, but that's pretty close, and we can trim that down, so not a problem. So now I'm going to close the Old Olive, and we are going to grab the Garden Green, and I'm going to grab that other little piece. That's this one. And the outline of the leaf, which is this one. And you can see how this one has the leaf, the vines, or the veins, that's the right word, veins, in the leaf. So I'm going to grab that Garden Green, load that up, and I'm going to go in and stamp that down. And see how pretty that is? It just really gives it a nice look. So once I do that, now we're going to do the same thing with this little piece. And let's see if I can get in this one a little bit better. Not bad. Okay, clean that one. And now we need to do the tiny flower. So I'm going to take this one off. And over here you have two flowers. You have the larger flower and the smaller one. The smaller flower is the one that punches out with the punch. So I'm going to grab the small flower, and I'm going to grab the color first, and I'll make sure that's sitting in there right. And on this one I want to do the Daffodil Delight. I think a nice little yellow flower would be cute on here, giving the green and the red a nice look. So stamp that down in there. Now we could definitely come back and do a red on the outline, and let's try that, because I think the flowers will have a bit of a red and a green, a red and a yellow. So I am going to put this down and then grab the, I think I'm going to grab the Poppy Parade. I think that'll look really pretty with the yellow. And I am going to just go in like that, and I think that gives that a really pretty look. And it will match the strawberry with that little bit of yellow for a spark of color. Alright, so now we're ready to take the template off of our paper. And as you can see, we now have this piece that's ready to punch. And we can put this on just like this, get it lined up, and everything lines up perfectly to punch out our leaf, our stem, and our little flower. How neat is that? And now we have all those pieces punched, although one did go on the floor. And there is our stem. And like I said, I knew that stem was a little bit off, but we can use our paper snips and just snip around this a little bit. I'm going to actually draw that stem in a little bit with a marker. But we can just trim this off just a little bit, just to get a little bit of that white off of it so it doesn't look like it was mispunched or whatever. And sometimes even with our die cuts we'll find that they might not cut just exactly, and we do this. I'm sure that if you have been stamping for any length of time, you have probably done this many times. But anyway, there is your strawberry, and here is your stem. I love that stem on that strawberry. I think it's so cute. And then you've got your little flower, and then of course you've got the leaf. Now you can do several of these in one sitting, and get them all done. So we're going to work on making a card using this particular technique. So I'm going to lay that over there, and I want to grab the vine that is in this stamp set. This is a beautiful strawberry vine. It's got some little flowers on it, and I think it's just beautiful. So we're going to load that up on our ink block, and I'm going to grab a piece of a card base. This is actually not a card base. This will be a mat for the card. So these are cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. But I think what I want to do is I want to do it landscape. So I'm going to grab a piece of Stampin' grid paper. And the reason I want this is because I am going to be doing some stamping on and off, and I just don't want to make a mess with my ink on my surface. So I'm just going to move all of my stamps over to the side. And little pieces of tape. And I'm just going to bring this up here so we have a little bit of a work surface here, and we can stamp on and off without making a huge mess. And I think for this, I'm going to do it in the garden green. And I'm going to start off just inking this up. And we can go in and color this. So this will be something that we can come back and color. So I'm going to stamp like right along there, and I'm going to turn my paper, and I'm going to stamp maybe here, and then I'm going to continue to turn my paper. I'm not going to turn my stamp, I'm just turning the paper, and there, and then I'm going to stamp right there. And maybe a little bit right here. And maybe here. And then maybe right there. Now we can always come back and fill in any places that we feel like we need to put a leaf or a flower or whatever. We've got these other little images in here that we can definitely fill in with. So I'm going to go ahead and clean my stamp. And I've got my Stampin' Scrub over here to the side so that I can make sure that I clean my stamps really good in between. So what I want to do now is I'm going to go ahead and close that ink pad. And I want to grab my Stampin' Blends. Now you're going to get a little bit of a bleed with these because these are alcohol and this is a water base. So you want to be really careful when you use these. So what we're going to do is we're just going to come in and put a little color in just in between those little, and we're going to do some different shades of green just to kind of you know, have a little variety in our leaves. This is Just Jade, and this is the Light Just Jade. So I'm going to probably go back with the dark and put maybe just a little lines in there. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect because this is going to look kind of whimsical. It doesn't need to be perfect. And let's go back with a little bit of this. And we're just going to blend that out just a hair. It's actually not bleeding as bad as I thought it would, which is really nice. Okay, a little bit in here. And I'm going to leave some of these. I want to bring in some other shades of green. So let's grab a... This is our Granny Apple Green, so I'm going to take the darker one. And again, I'm just going to go in and put a little bit of color in the middles of the leaves. And with this particular stamp, you have got lots of leaves, so there's quite a bit of leaf coloring to do. So what I might do is just speed this up, and I'll get all these colored, and then we'll join back up. I think that would be the wise thing to do because this might take a little bit of time. Alright, as you can see, we've gotten all of our coloring done, and I variegated these leaves because I didn't want them all to look the same. So some are light, some are dark, some are in between, and the same with the little flowers. I did them sort of the Poppy Parade and the Daffodil Delight, and I kind of went back and forth with the coloring. But now all of this isn't going to be seen because we are going to build our strawberries. And in order to build my strawberries, I went ahead and stamped out and punched 2 more sets. So that gives us a total of 3 sets of strawberries. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take liquid glue, and on the back of each one of these strawberries, oops, my glue is leaking. I think it's because I had it on its end. It's okay, we'll wipe this up. I have a little bit of alcohol on this, so where I cleaned my stamp blocks. Alright, I'm going to turn each one of these over, and we're going to put just a smidgen of glue right there, and then I'm going to come back and set the stem in that glue for each one of these. Just the stem for at this minute. And since we have enough of that glue, let's go ahead and set the leaf. I'm going to just drag a little bit of that glue over to the side like that. And this one I'm going to do to the other side, because what I want to do is I don't want the leaves to look like they're in the same place on each strawberry. So we're just going to change it up a little bit. And maybe this one's going to go like that. And then I'm just going to take my finger and smooth that glue out. And then we're going to turn these over. And then we're going to take our little flower and stick it just a little bit here, there, and there. And then I'm just going to lay the flower on top of that glue. Just like that. I'm going to lift those up because I don't want them to stick to my surface. And that works good. And now what I'll need to do is I'm going to bring out my trimmer because I want to trim this down to a card base. Now this needs to go to 3 3/4. So another 1/4 inch off, and it's okay. It's all right that we're cutting it down. No big deal. By 5. And just another 1/4 inch off. If I thought about it, I would have taken a 1/2 inch off, but I wasn't thinking, so it's okay. So now I need a piece of Poppy Parade, and that is going to be, and I actually have a card base in that. And I also need a Daffodil Delight. And I think we can get our card front from that. So I'm going to go ahead and score this at 4 1/4. I'm going to get my card base Let's grab our bone folder because this definitely needs a little bit of a fold. And now I'm going to cut this Daffodil Delight for a mat, and we're going to do this at 4, let's see, let's go this way, 4, 5 1/4. And this way we can showcase both of these colors by having the two mats, or having, the actual card base, the mat, and then our what would normally be our designer series paper, but in this case it's going to be our strawberry vines that we made. Now once we get that down like that, let me zoom y'all in just a little bit more. I am going to take these strawberries that we built and I am going to pop them up in just different areas. So we need to get some dimensionals. And what I want to do is I'm going to put a dimensional right over top of where I put that together. And then maybe one right here on the leaf and one right there at the bottom. Now I'm going to do the same thing for each of these, making sure that I'm putting the dimensionals in the same spots. And then one more. And we may have to cut a few of these little dimensionals. So I'm just going to take my paper snips and I'm going to cut Not that we'll need to use all of these, but they're here if we do. So these are all done. So now I'm going to go ahead and put my card together before I put these on. So the first thing I want to do is, and I'm going to use liquid glue. And just get this set down where we have that nice little border all the way around. And that just looks so springy on that. There's something about that Daffodil Delight that looks so springtime. And then when you pair it with this Poppy Parade, it really does pop. So I'm going to go ahead and put my glue on the back of this piece. And center it just about like that. And give it a good press. And y'all know I like to come back and take my bone folder because to me that really helps iron out that adhesive underneath. This is just something that I do. I just like the feel of it. Now I'm going to try to get these strawberries placed where it looks like they're on the vine. Like maybe there and there. And maybe there. I think I like them like that. So what I'm going to do is grab my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to turn this over and pull off my backers. And then turn this back over and put it down right like that. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Pulling those backers off. And I think I like that one right there. And then this one, I think I want it about here. I'm trying to leave a place in the middle for a sentiment. So that's the reason I'm kind of struggling with where to put this one. So now that I've got my backers off, we can pretty much decide, and I think I'm just going to drop this one right about there. We still got room here that we can do a strip sentiment, and that's exactly what I want to do. So I've got this piece of paper or cardstock. I'm going to look at this, and how about the happy birthday you sweet thing, or that was so sweet of you. We could do a thank you. I'm always making thank you cards because I send out thank you cards to my customers, and I send thank you cards out at the end of the month with the gift. If you earn a gift from me, you will get a thank you card along with your gift. So that's how I roll. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this right about here, close to the bottom of that piece. And let me grab a stamp block. I'm going to use this longer one for this. And I'm going to use my Memento Tuxedo Black. I really like my sentiments to pop very boldly in black. And that looks really good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my trimmer up, because I want to trim this out to where it's just above and I think that looks good. And see, that's just above the, and I think what I want is I want that thank you to go right across here, just like that. And I think I'm going to glue that flat down. I think that looks really good like that. So I'm going to take my liquid glue and put a little bit on there just like that. And then I'm going to bring this over and I want to slide it under the edge of that strawberry and that top one. And then just set it down just like that. And there is a beautiful strawberry card that can be a beautiful thank you. Now I do want to do an inside. So for my inside, I think what I'm going to do is just put down the yellow and stamp a sentiment on this. So again, let's bring our trimmer up. This trimmer is one trimmer that you will pull out time and time again because it is without a doubt one of the nicest trimmers you will ever use. I'm going to cut this to 5 by 3 3/4. Because I wanted this to be smaller, and then that will give us a lot more of that red to show inside. And I'm trying to decide if I want to stamp anything on the inside, and I think I do. I think I want to do a little bit of this vine with the flowers on it, just about like that in that corner. And I think I'm going to do it with the garden green. Just like that. And then I'm going to come back with that Poppy Parade. And I'm just going to put a little bit of color on those flowers. And that's all I'm going to do. And we're going to put another sentiment in here. I love this massive thanks. I love this one where it says message on the cover may appear smaller than actual gratitude. I love that. I usually send a text, but this calls for a card. Let's put that one on the inside. I like that one. Kind of simple, but yet, you know, kind of punny. I love pun. So we are going to line that up. And go ahead and pick it up. Grab my memento because I like that for my sentiments. Very good. Alright, so now we're going to put this And I think I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of my Stampin' Seal. I need to order some more of this. And all I'm going to do is work this around the edge of my card. And then make sure you have it turned in the right direction. And I'm going to place it inside just like that. And now we have this beautiful card that was done using the sweet strawberry. And I hope that you learned a technique or two, especially with the punch and how to go about using that punch with that template, which will make this so much easier. Let's zoom out just a hair. Oops, wrong way. But this is such a great punch to use, and it is one that you will enjoy immensely. So think about picking up this bundle. Spring is on its way, and what a beautiful spring card to send to someone. And who doesn't love strawberries? So I love the way this card turned out. I thought it was beautiful. I hope you did, and I hope this is something that you may want to try. So go over and pick up this bundle. Now's a great time to bundle. Remember, anytime you buy a bundle, which a bundle consists of a stamp set and dies or punch. Usually it's a die set, but in some cases, like with this, you do get the punch instead of dies. So it just depends on how Stampin' Up! Decides to market their product. And this punch is so much fun, especially if you use the template like I showed you. So I'm going to move this over to the side, and we're going to... So this little card, I think, turned out so stinking cute. I'm going to move the dirty paper. It's not really dirty, it's just loved with a little ink. But I'm going to move that out of the way, and we're going to just center in on the beauty of these luscious, yummy strawberries. And they do look very yummy. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. It doesn't cost a thing to subscribe. It is a free service, and if you ring that little bell right beside of the subscribe button, you will be notified anytime that I put up a video. So that's always fun. You'll get a little notification either in your on your phone under your notifications, or you'll get an email, or both. So you can choose how you want to receive your notifications, and it's a great way to keep up with what's happening here on my YouTube channel. So I do my best to bring you creative ideas, tips and tricks on how to make your crafting easier and more successful. And most of all, I love the friendship that we all have here in our little crafting family. And yes, when you join my YouTube channel, you become a part of my family. So think about doing that. Also, if you're interested in becoming a demonstrator, please shoot me an email or either give me a call. And please leave a message. If you call me, a lot of times I do not get the calls, but if you leave me a message, I will be sure to call you back just as soon as I have an opportunity. A lot of times I may be filming, I may be editing, I might be on the phone with another customer or a demonstrator. So it's always one or the other. But anyway, God bless you all so much. I love each and every one. And until we craft again, let everything, and I mean everything that you do and say, that takes in everything, bring glory to our Father in heaven. So think before you speak, show acts of kindness to others, and most of all, love God with all your heart. If you don't know Him, let today be the day that you ask Him into your heart and turn your life to Him and decide that you want to live for Jesus. You will not regret the journey. So until we craft again, I love you all so much, and bye-bye.